Hi guys! Just see if this story sounds a bit familiar. The story of a mysterious witch who looks after children, goes on a magical adventure with her male companion, ends up in an animated world, brings them all together, and they have to say goodbye at the end. What Mary Poppins?
You can see that!
The Magic Bedknob was a children's book by Mary Norton published in 1943. And 2 years later, Disney decided to buy the rights because they planned world domination to purchase every single thing they can get their hands on, but then Norton published another novel in 1947 titled Bonfires and Broomsticks. These two stories were then combined in 1957 for Bedknobs and Broomsticks. While Disney were negotiating deals for the Mary Poppins movie in 1961, this one was considered to replace it instead. Bedknobs actually began pre-production before Mary Poppins. However, there wasn't as much interest. As the producers performed the song Eglantine, hark to the star in front of him, Walt Disney fell asleep in his chair. Mary Poppins was soon greenlit and Bedknobs took a back seat. It wasn't returned to until 1966, but then delayed yet again because they found it to be far too similar to Poppins.
See?
It was up in the air until the early 70s, and as if it wasn't too similar already, Julie Andrews was even offered the part of the lead. She was rather hesitant before the late great Angela Lansbury accepted. At this point, Andrews changed her mind and felt like she owed it to Disney to do it, but it was too late.
Shut up, you!
Ron Moody was originally cast as Miss Price's fella Emilius Brown, but he refused unless he was given top billing, which the studio wouldn't do, so he was replaced with David Tomlinson, also from Mary Poppins.
I see no reason to think otherwise.
The movie made decent money, and despite its similarity to Poppins, it was well received by most for its charm and even daring dark nature. Though others didn't like the story itself, but praised Lansbury's performance. However, she actually wasn't happy with it. There are a lot of special effects involved, so everything had to be storyboarded shot for shot. Every single moment had to be planned perfectly, which prevented actors from improvising or acting naturally to explore the character further. Because of this, Lansbury described her performance as paint by the numbers.
Oh, bother.
I mean, credit to the film for having a kids' Disney movie during the Second World War. Not only are there Nazis, but they somehow have genuinely funny moments in the midst of it all.
I'm not a Nazi, I'm a British officer.
That's what you'd say if you was a Nazi, isn't it, sir?
It all just looks colourful and charming. A lot of the time it does look like there's a painting in front of the camera, but it's still a lot of fun to look at. But why are these soldiers not wearing their helmets correctly? The straps aren't even under their chins. What the hell are they doing? Who recruited these guys?
With this shipment, the Emilius Brown Correspondence College of Witchcraft sends you its heartiest congratulations on qualifying for the first degree of your chosen calling.
And also, you have earned the certificate for reading aloud this letter to yourself for absolutely no reason.
Clasp the broom with both hands.
Why does she keep talking to herself? I mean, she reads this one inside her head. She even talks to a cat. Weirdo. Dogs are different, shut up. She tries to ride a broom for the first time, but man, she makes Harry Potter in the first movie look competent. Naturally, she hates the kids at first and doesn't want to take them in and grows to love them over the course of the movie. It's a generic cliche now, but for its time, it was still relatively new and unique. And very accurate when it comes to the portrayal of children.
You will wash yourselves, otherwise there will be no supper. Is that clear?
A house of horror. That's what we've come to.
But one thing that really hasn't aged very well is the British slang. Hell, half the time I don't even know what they're saying.
I could do with a bit of lolly. Then let's use the old loaf, says I. No one's gonna peach on you.
The eldest kid, Charlie, is a little shithead though. He tries to bribe her and everything.
You give us something valuable to seal the pact. Oh, Charlie, don't try to be clever again. It's for our own protection, ain't it? If we broke the pact, we'd have to give back the valuable object.
Not much of a pact. You'll give her back the very thing that is already hers, that you've stolen. But if you're as childish as me, try and watch this without laughing.
What's that got to do with my knob?
Charlie's character is beyond insufferable. He literally gets turned into a damn rabbit and still doesn't think her magic is gonna work. I mean, they travel to London on a magic bed and he still doesn't believe. He also saw her flying the damn broom. I love how they spot her flying around as a witch and they barely even react like it's completely normal. To be fair, the special effects are actually pretty good for its time. It has a sweet charm to it. For its time, the green screen work is actually really good. For the most part. The interactions with the animated characters look great, and hey, they even have the same sign I have on my front door. Angela Lansbury's performance is great. It's just a wonderful film. With Nazis. I do find the music really charming, and sometimes Mary Poppins came across as a bit of a bitch, but Miss Price is a lot more likeable. It's the kids who are fuckheads. They visit Amelia's Brown, but it turns out he's a fraud and doesn't actually have any real magic, so they turn him into a bunny and kidnap him.
Don't let him get away.
Ryder!
They even have an unexploded bomb outside his home. Disney used to have balls. Go back to this. And they casually have dinner inside, next to a fucking bomb! There is a charming song where he tries to convince her to become a double act as she tries to find the other half of this magic book. It's hilarious but charming at the same time. The funny thing is, Miss Price is constantly trying to get the plot moving, but Amelius does his very best to put it on hold at every opportunity. Anytime she's trying to move on to the next part of the plot, he's like, nope. If Miss Price wrote this film, it would be 20 minutes tops.
I must get to London immediately. I would like to see this book, but the rest of the book is missing.
I assumed they'd be in your half of the manuscript.
But I thought they'd be in yours. To the island of Nabumbu. At last. You mean it was there in your book all the time?
The dance sequences are really magical and charming. It's truly a product of its time, and to be fair, it doesn't dent the film's story or runtime one bit. Then she randomly gets dragged into the dance number, just joins in suddenly without questioning. But poor guys, they get mugged by Brucey, who even threatens a child with a knife! I know I really shouldn't question any of the film, especially the animated sequence, but how are they breathing under the ocean? But at least in this one, the animated sequence has a point. In Mary Poppins, they jump into a painting and pissed about for a bit. At least here it contributes to the plot. But why are they even playing football with a basketball? Who cares? It is really charming. This is Space Jam before Space Jam was Space Jam. But I guess physics don't apply to them as he gets completely mauled several times and still doesn't die.
Foul! Foul! They're only animals. That's no excuse for dirty football.
Ah, they're playing against Italy. The game does last quite a while, so I can see some people growing bored of it, but personally it doesn't really bother me. It's just a lot of fun.
You mean it was there in your book all the time?
Okay, maybe that entire scene was completely pointless. Fuck's sake!
Yeah, but nobody ever listens to me.
Shut up! You never once tried to tell them before this. You only mentioned it after, little idiot. They sing the magic words they need, and it's just so wonderful, man. Amelius is likeable and charming, and it's the complete opposite of his role in Mary Poppins. It's weird because they've only spent maybe a day or two together, but when he leaves to return to London, it is actually quite sad how they do that. And that's when Nazis start to invade our Disney musical adventure. Look at it! Nazis are invading the Magic Nanny's house! Why don't they just kill him?
A minor raid to induce panic and to spread a little mischief.
God, that's lazy writing.
And yeah, this magic con man is able to take on these two fully trained Nazi soldiers completely on his own. I mean, would you ever suspect this is a Disney musical? Amelius manages to turn himself into a rabbit, but somehow his spell lasts a lot longer than Miss Price's. Does that mean you don't actually need any magic powers or anything? You just say a word and you can do magic? Is that how it works? And despite constantly forgetting her spells all the time, she somehow remembers this epic complicated one. Oh well, this climax is so cool. It is such a badass finale. It's a witch fighting Nazis with enchanted knights in shining armor in a Disney film. But they never taught me this in history class. They left this detail out. This is truly how the Second World War ended. And despite struggling earlier, she now has complete control of her magic and can fly perfectly with no issue. They do show their trademark Disney humour though, amidst the badass moments. The soldiers have terrible aim though, considering she's not even paying attention and is completely still, and they still manage to miss her. She's just as bad, literally watches them plant a bomb and is then still taken out by it. Dumbass. Yeah, she lost all of her work, but she still managed to end the entire war somehow.
Was it that first magic moment when you laid eyes on me?
No, it was the day my poisoned dragon's liver arrived. I knew then that anyone who felt the way I did about poisoned dragon's liver had no business being a witch.
So why did you spend the whole movie trying to be a witch then? Mr. Brown then joins the army. No clue why he wasn't forced to enlist in the first place, but this movie is great. Not a lot makes sense, but it's a fantasy. It's a bit dated, but nonetheless it's charming and magical. Show it to your family and enjoy a whole lot of fun.